Hey everyone, welcome back to another Bodyguard romance edition where we are going to be using Novel Crafter and we're going to write chapter 3. So in previous videos we've been using Claude 2. In the other Novel Crafter series with the second chance small town romance we did everything with Chat Turbo. So in this video I want to show you something a little different. We're going to be using Mistral Medium. Claude and Chat are two of the more expensive models through OpenRouter. Mistral Medium is a nice, less expensive. It's not as nice as Claude and Chat, but it's a lot more budget friendly. So I wanted to show you that. And then today is the 16th, so everything that's new will be up here. So let's jump right into it. And as you can see, just right here, and this is a previous session. This is Valentine's Day. This is Mistral Medium, with 1 cent, less than a cent, 2 cents, versus Claude, which is 7 cents, 6 cents, 6 cents, 6 cents. And it's not a lot, but when you're generating all the prose and all the outline and everything, it can start to add up. So I wanted to show you, something maybe a little bit easier on the wallet if you are using Novel Crafter and OpenRouter a lot, like I do. So here we've got the plan. When we're in chapter 3, we've introduced the two characters, Lucas and Ava. Now we're in chapter 3. This is what's happening. In chapter 1, she threw away the rose. In two, she wanted to go out and have dinner with her friend. Lucas was like, absolutely not. And then in this one, it's leading up to showing why Ava needed to feel like she had to run away. And then once she's ran away, once she's away from Lucas and she's no longer protected, that's when the stalker grabs her in one of these later chapters. But we need to build up to that so it's not just, oh look, she's running away for no reason. No, she's running away because she feels like she's in a cage. And rightfully it's for her own protection, but she definitely feels caged and she's not okay with it. She's strained. She's upset all the time. So it's not great. And then, of course, I like to write within the chat window. And we're going to be changing this to select Mistral Medium. It's also less of a moderated one, so as we're starting to get a little darker, Mistral will be helpful. And then this is where we're actually going to be putting the prose. So this is Ava. We are writing in first person. Let's take this and get some seam beads. See, I don't want it on her bedside table. A lot of this is usable. Alright, but this one, 1 and 2, I'm going to change up. Let's see what it does with that. Alright, so we've had 2 outputs so far. Let's see. Yep, and as you can see, it's 2 pennies. 2 pennies, 2 pennies. So it's not a lot. Alright, so we are ready for write the first beat from Ava's POV, first person, past tense, write details. And as you can see, it is a little different as far as the tone from Claude. I'll show you Claude just to show you how it's, yeah. The style's a little different. It's not enough that it's considerably different where, you know, you're still going to edit all of this. But let me show you this. Okay, let me just... And that'll give a really good side-by-side cost comparison too. Why are you stumbling at 337 words? Interesting. So here's that first scene is 2 cents from Mistral Medium. And then Claude gave us 386 words. As you can see, it's better. Let's see what Claude's cost for that first scene beat was. See, it's 7 cents instead of 2 cents. So if the increase is worth it for you, if you like Claude better, totally fine. I tend to like Claude better, but I did want to show you kind of a cheaper version because as you can see, you can get 3 scenes for 1 scene of Claude. Claude tends to end up costing more. No, it's just a more expensive model. I'm going to grab this. Since we have both, I do tend to like Claude more. Okay, and then I'm going to change it to show just chapter 3 because we need to get it to between 3,000 and 3,500 words. I prefer 32 to 35 just for consistency. I'm going to switch this back to Mistral. And I'm just going to copy this to save time. So you can absolutely switch between them, between the different AIs. That is no problem at all. Especially when you're in chat, it makes it super easy. Before we go further on the chapter, I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment. So I'm going to take the seam beats and what we've already created. So this is the first beat from Mistral Medium, and then I'm going to create a document just to see. I want you to see the difference in quality and kind of prose from Mistral Medium, which is maybe 2 cents per beat, to Claude 2, which is up to 10 cents per beat, normally 7 to 10 cents per beat. So you do get quite a bit more from Mistral before you hit Claude, but maybe Claude's prose are more in line with how you write, so you don't have to do as much editing and reworking of what Mistral would give you. But I want you to see both. So all I'm doing right now is taking that, and then this one is from Claude. Tossing it here. What I'm going to be putting in the actual book in Novel Crafter is going to be from Claude, because I do like Claude's style more, but I want you to see that Mistral is very capable of this. And I'm using Mistral in another video series on this channel, but let's keep it all together for right now instead of jumping around between books. So this is going to be Mistral, and you can always see which one was used by this little icon down here. So this is the second beat with Mistral. I'm not editing anything, I am just grabbing it and paste without format. So right now we're at 700 words. Not terrible. This one is going to be Claude. This is beat 2. And beat 2, we're at 695. Nope, that is not what we're doing. Alright, this one is Claude 2. I know I'm going to change that. I don't like that. What? We can definitely fix that. So that is beat. Now to make it fair, I'm going to use the exact same prompt. So exhausted from the stress of the day. Yeah, so we're going to get rid of this so that we make it fair. I'm going to have, and I'm also going to tally up how much each of these costs, so that you can see one chapter that's about 3,200 to 3,500 words with Claude 2 versus one chapter that's the same length. Remember, we're using the exact same beats for Mistral Medium. Side-by-side comparison so that you can get a good idea. But let's go ahead, instead of just doing this prompt, let's do this prompt because this gives it a lot more detail. And alright, so we're still in Claude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate Claude all the way through, and then I'm going to generate Mistral Medium all the way through so that we don't get confused going back and forth. So this is the third beat. Right, around the third beat. Yep, that was the second beat. This is the third beat. Alright, so we're still with Claude. We can tell by this. I'm just going to go like that. And I still have Open Router up too. So this was this morning. And then, yeah, so giving it the right prompt, it gives a lot more detail, a lot more words, and that's what we want. I want side-by-side comparison. You know, transparency is pretty big for me, and I want you to know your tools and to be able to have a good idea of what they're capable of. Paste without formatting that. Right, and then we're just going to grab this again. We're on the fourth beat. Remember, it made 10 beats up here in the, yep, so we're here, roughly. Alright, send that. Still with Claude. And we'll jump here. I'm going to make a little note here. Yeah, third beat and beyond, just in case I get lost and forget. I'm not that good at remembering things, but let's take a look. Alright, so that's the fourth beat. Nope. I pasted with, or just simply pasted. So, looks like it's definitely going to need expanding, but that's okay. We're going to go back up here, grab this. I need the fifth beat. Send that out. And this is also handy too if you want to see kind of what it will create and then go back and expand and change things, which I will definitely show you. But once we have all of the beats written in both Claude and Mistral, that'll be the end of this video. Then expanding it and going through what Claude gave us will be the next one. Yeah, this whole chapter I'm going to be cutting, or that whole scene I'm going to be cutting, just because it's not going to be multiple days. But for the sake of this exercise, I'm just doing exactly what it's giving me. And as you can see too, it's not really following the scene beats. You see, Yeah, so it's kind of gone off the rails a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna ask it to do 10 and then we can go from there. Still Claude. So that's 6. Let's see here. I feel like from here on I'll just be cutting, just because this is a lot of, not really action. It's just kind of, she's miserable and we know that, but I want to see it more in dialogue and, her actions rather than just being told, she's withdrawing, because this we can expand so much more. It's a nice, decent start, but it's way too brief. Alright, so here we are. It's the 7th beat. Okay, did I just copy that completely again? Let's see here. Yeah, seeing it starting to repeat itself, where it's collecting dust. At night I lay rigid. At night I lay rigid. Okay, so now at this point it's just circling. And it's just repeating itself. Let's kill it here, because it's just going to keep repeating itself. It's gone off the deep end. It needs direction again. And that's okay. So we are going to switch over to Mistral Medium. And I'm just going to do this. And we're just going to do the 3rd beat. And the 3rd beat, according to the outline of the scene beat, should be brushing off Lucas's concern. Then he insists that they need open communication. She reluctantly agrees. Day wears on. She's in distress. She feels like she's in a cage. Right, that's where we should be heading, as long as we can kind of stay on track. So this, with it going off the rails, is about 1900 words. Most of this from here down, I'm not keeping. I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to expand all of this. But this whole, we're jumping way ahead in time. I don't want that. And just to kind of show you what we're doing here, all of this, so about 7 cents, 7 cents, 7 cents, 7 cents, and then Mistral right here, 3 cents. So this, all of this 6:30 p.m., this is all Claude. That's what Claude did before it just started repeating itself and circling itself. Now we have Mistral. So let's take a look what Mistral did. Right. I'm going to switch these around. We're still with Mistral Medium. Okay, and now we've devolved into the same, fast forwarding that Claude did. So here it got to about 1400. And it's doing the same thing. My music studio Sat Untouched is very much a mirror of, guitar gathering dust. She was adrift, anchorless. At night she lay awake. At night she's laying rigid in her room. So it's very much parallel. It's just a matter of which one you like more. There honestly isn't a ton of difference. Claude does do a little better, but Mistral is very much usable, and that's what I wanted to show you with this side-by-side comparison. And then also, as you can see, Mistral is at least half of Claude. If we go further back, Mistral is like 2 cents. Claude's like 7 cents. So if you're okay with what Mistral gives, which is over here, absolutely perfectly fine to use Mistral. Especially if you're cutting a lot of it, if you're just using this as a very basic first draft, and you're totally okay just filling it in because maybe you only want the bones and you're just going to add more to your actual book, absolutely fine. This may be a little sparse if you were just going to say, okay, good, it's done, send it off, be done with it. But I definitely don't recommend doing that with any AI. I would love to see everything that AI gives you edited so that it's your style, your voice. It has a bit more of you in it. Because even though we're directing it and telling it, hey, this is what I want to happen, this is what you need to write, it's not the same as putting in your own little details. Even if you go, just grabbing that little sentence, those 2 sentences, just being like, hey, I need more in this. There's plenty more that you can add to that to make it your own. And that's how we're going to take, if I wanted to do this part of Claude, have Claude be in this, that's how I would take, the 1400 words that I'm not cutting instantly, maybe even just 1200 words that I'm not cutting instantly, and expand each one. because there's plenty here to just be like, okay, no, we're expanding. Because all of this needs to be expanded. You know, all of this. We can take each of these little bits and then expand them just like we did here. Turning something that's 2 sentences into something that's 239 words. Super easy. Very, very simple, and it's very easy to do in chat. But still, definitely needs your touch to make it completely your voice and your book. So thank you so much for watching this process. I hope, you know, seeing Claude and Mistral side by side was helpful, because I don't want you to feel like this takes a lot of money. You can absolutely do this for free. You know, you still need the subscription to Novel Crafter, but I have a whole series where it's just using Poe and Mistral Medium, and you don't have to pay for any of it. So definitely check it out if you're looking for a more affordable option. If you're like, there's too many subscriptions, I can't do this, I can't afford it. You can absolutely write with AI. You just need to look at the free options. Unfortunately, Novel Crafter is not a free option, but there's plenty out there. And check out my Poe and Mistral Medium series, because lots of great stuff there. But we will absolutely continue the Bodyguard romance and expand all of it with the next video. Okay, thank you so much for watching.